follows that paper ballot count. So the Maricopa is going to, or the county is going to do that, where everybody's going to be on pins and needles for this because they fought hard to get this approved. And at the filming that we went to, that denial,
I can't think of the title.
something
But it was
denial,
about
denial or something.
the voter integrity.
And
That's with Shelby,
yeah.
right? Where Shelby's narrating a bunch of it.
yeah, and
Yeah.
they
Very
announced.
well done.
They were on the stage and they announced that it was going to be a paper ballot and how much with the paper ballots. 'Cause county, I think, still did the.
40 PC to the paper ballots, and then we turned them in. I did directly to, I believe it was Ray Chernenke, who was the county chief.
For them not to more paper ballots, and
Come on.
and it's a big move. That might be the future if we can actually convince the populace and the politicians to give us a chance to do it. It's something we can do, and we go the states involved.
Well, correct me if I'm wrong.
Going to be down there. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead, Alice. Go ahead.
That's the only thing about Zoom, because I can't see who's talking next, and so I think, and then I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
But I was going to ask, George, are you going to be down there reporting live from the convention? You know how we used to be outside and talking to people?
Yeah, but I'm not going to be. I don't have a table yet. I mean, I don't have a table, but I'll be doing with the phone. Same way I did over there at the Fan Fest. I'll have my phone doing a live, but the old way that we used to do.
That's
Even
cool.
when we had our phone and we had a table set up so we can meet and talk to people, but we went around with our phone interviewing people. In fact, you were doing a lot of the interviewing because I was at go with the phone, and it worked because we got a lot of interviews and a lot of people spoke up.
That's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the best way to do it. That's the
Sid's
best way
thinking
to.
about going because his son might or might not leave.
I'm trying to figure out the dates. It's because I know it's on one of the didn't this even with machines we tallied with machines. It took how long did it take us? It took us quite a long time.
Well,
Still-
they had to recount because then there was something.
But-
the machine shut down, or it was.
it was something that is took a
I think
while.
paper counting is the way to go.
It seems that would be the best bet because you're actually counting. You're actually
Alice is from old school like me. We that's all we used to do is paper ballots.
well.
Helen Purcell bought the Insight, and those were pretty accurate and fast. And then they came out with these tabulators, and that really screwed everything.
Yeah. That it seems like if we can,
Good point, George. You're right.
if we could do it,
Very good point, because
because if time or hand count and make it, I think it'd be a lot more accurate, a lot more.
I hate when they say, "Look at so much that can be done to hack that," and that's what we were doing at the conventions. They were saying, "Everybody, get your phones," and that was worse than the paper ballot, because the paper that you feed into the machine, they were texting on the phone. It was some new way to do it. Robert Graham did 16. We had to vote by phone. We had to text the ballot and then vote. It was crazy.
It was. I remember that. I do remember that. It was. It was
They were
kind
getting used to this using your phone and going online and trying to speed up the process, and I didn't like it myself. Do you remember that, Alice? You got to remember that.
I also remember that, especially at that time, and it probably is still the case, that most of the active Republicans who are PCs don't care for the technology that much. So I remember having to kind of explain to those who are older than me how to do it. And they were very uncomfortable with it. And they were trying to convince us that, this is actually more secure. But the simple fact is, you could probably just take somebody's, all they had to give you was their passcode or whatever it was to get in there. And then you could get in there and vote take your ballot, just like the old days.
Yeah.
You turn it in, get your ID verified. So it's a very, very, very good chance that the right person got their right vote.
Well,
So
Well-
I really, check it out and report to me what happens.
Yeah,
because
you know
I'm so excited that you guys are going to do it.
and with Helen Purcell's, and she had the Insight machine. We'd vote by ballot as it's going through. By the end of, and they actually knew the total count, and so I'm glad they're going to the paper ballot, and I hope that it really they put a good showing on the paper. And I'll report to you, Alice and Zeke, how that turned out here, because it's very important. She's going to go around as a member at large. Hopefully, she'll do good. She's a Latina. She speaks fluently. She could say it in a slower way. Maybe she can. So she's not running, but well, not Monica. Was it Monica Yelling?
Oh, Monica Yellen.
Yeah, she has. She's working with a Hispanic community.
Yeah.
A Spanish organization reaching out to the Spanish community. So she's doing her part too. So kudos goes to Monica Yelling that out as PCs and as community, because we've been
with Carlo. I found out, and I was listening to other talk show hosts, American people, and they were saying that that is for them and has the same values as them. But you still got those that, and my mom, when I grew up, you couldn't, there was Democrat, no matter what. You were Democrat, you were blue, you were.
Well, that's how they
raised us. And there was no other party beside it,
Alice, you had mentioned earlier something about the Second Amendment that has to do with.
It wasn't that long ago, our own governor, who is very lefty Catholic, but she is very pro-abortion, and she decided to issue an executive order last year, and it's because we do have was to try to take guns away, so you couldn't carry a gun. I won't go into all the details, but what's happening right now is she is our governor. And unfortunately, we have a very, very left Democrat legislature. But I tell you what, a lot of those Democrats are Second Amendment people. And that's why it's been fought. Even our own attorney general was going after her. So I wanted to mention that because I know that you are going to have your Second Amendment rally coming up there in February, I believe.
Yeah, February the 17th.
Even though it's only happening in New Mexico, we need to pay attention. Because, this state sees this, so they think, oh, maybe I can try it. Unfortunately, Arizona also has a Democrat governor, too. Mm-hmm. So I always kind of feel like we're the testing ground. In New Mexico, we only have a little 2.5 million people, a little bit maybe over that, the whole entire state. Wow. So this is kind of like a testing ground for them. That's what I think. I mean, in Maricopa, I think there's 4.5 million people just in the county of Maricopa. So I think we all have to pay attention and watch these things, because the left would like nothing but to control. Forgive me, my landline's ringing. I'm going to go turn it off, guys.
Okay.
What did she say?
Her phone line is ringing. Oh, she has to go turn it off.
I just want to make sure everybody is tuned in to our show next week. We're going to try to have Alice, in fact, is going to try to reach out to our rally on February. If we can get Martin on board, we'll have a reunion. Three amigos, but it'll be the four amigos. This is going to be like an opening to on the 23rd. It's going to be doing a podcast. It should be coming out tomorrow, or probably tomorrow on Rumble, on YouTube.
Bit about that for a minute.
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, and I'm sorry, but what we did is we found a studio here in Las Cruces that's helping us. So Zeke and I are going to be recording the show. Our great conservative. They have little studios that they do some hip hop, they do some other podcasts, and they're very professional. And I think it's going to add. Let's come up with a system like, hey, let me talk.
Yeah, because with Zoom, sound goes out. If I'm talking, then your sound goes off, and it's weird because I have to wait for a second or two, and then your sound will come back up. I'm starting to realize that, and because I see you try to talk, and I go, oh, wait a minute, and I have to be quiet. So we'll get it better. And Sid, thank you very much for being here.
No problem.
Alice, thank you for tuning in. I'm glad that Patty was able to speak to you and catch up some of the because you've known her forever. Go ahead, say your Last few words, Alice.
This is really a Democrat. We're on the way, like Sid, who's helped us out. Patty Castillo Porter, and partners and raise something out of Williamson.
The interviews are going to be coming up in segments, and so you'll see those popping up as soon as they're edited properly. Eric is a very good part of our team. It's going to be great. I hope to have Steve Palmer come by too. So it's going to be a love fest, and I hope Martin could do it. The whole thing.
I understand you guys are into this. Also, you guys, I appreciate it. I thank you. For all the.
Hey,
for all the love, for all the love. But I could have done it without you guys. I could have done it. Yes.
And we'll talk to him next week with the Writers USA and other guests that we may have. Again, watch your kids around water. Don't let Chips and Salsa show.